Before going on to looking at magnetic field produced by a wire and the forces that you get on a current carrying conductor in magnetic field, the Advanced Higher course asks you to know about something called ferromagnetism. This is where particular magnetic materials, metals, can have the small grains inside them, sort of what are called magnetic domains, aligned so they all follow the same direction and produces a magnet. So that's what you would know as being a permanent magnet that's been in your toys and everything like that. So how does this actually occur? Well, it actually occurs at the subatomic level, where you've got an electron orbiting the what's called a magnetic dipole, so that the motion of the charged particle actually causes a small magnetic field within the atom. If you get enough of those aligned, then you end up with a ferromagnetic material. So these are some of the metals which are ferromagnetic. Iron obviously is the most common one. Cobalt and nickel are the other main ones. But all these are, honestly, I'm not making these up, but they're also other minerals that demonstrate this kind of ability to be magnetized. So it's by orienting the magnetic domains so that in the metal crystal they all line up in the same direction. That's often done in the magnetic state. So before you heat the thing up there, get it magnetized by putting a magnetic field, applying it to it, and then it cools with it becoming permanently magnetized. So it's those magnetic dipoles are the key thing to how the domains are set up, and it's the rotation of the electrons. That actually also happens in the Earth. Strange but true, the molten surface, the molten core of the Earth is in a constant state of flux. It's constantly moving around, and that movement of magnetic iron core is enough to induce a magnetic field around the Earth's field here, where you can see that it actually changes between the geographic North Pole and the magnetic North Pole. So we tend to use compasses and things because the North Pole kind of fits with the magnetic North Pole, whereas it does sort of deviate around a little bit. Currently, it's pretty close, but it has been a lot further apart in the past, and it's just gone past being perfect, and it's soon going to be getting worse and worse and worse. So it means that anywhere in the Earth's surface, if you have a ferromagnetic material that's in a compass point, it'll always point north-south. And that will get distorted by the solar wind. So as you know from cosmic rays, the solar wind is particles which impact on our magnetic field, and it actually changes the shape of the magnetic field, where you have this tail effect at the back here, and they've got a sort of almost a bow shock area where the magnetic field is being pushed backwards away from the sun by the solar wind. You can actually create a magnetic field similar to a permanent magnet if you have a coil of wire. So the coil of wire here has electrons going through, and you can actually get the magnetic field created from the coil, from the magnet there. Lastly, just to recap on what you did last week, that you should know the comparison between these electromagnetic forces in terms of their range and the relative intensity compared to the other fundamental forces. So that's just the content. Knowledge about magnetic domains from the atomic nuclei, different materials, examples which exhibit ferromagnetism, and you should be able to sketch magnetic fields between the poles of the Earth and around solenoids.